In this video, I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes tour of the supplies needed for my newest online workshop, Collage Keepsake, where you will create art that you can actually use in your everyday life. In this very unique class, you will create a new type of collage, something I've never shared before, in addition to learning 13 ways to transform your gel prints, collage papers, and even old art into usable items like ornaments, coasters, paperweights, pendants, and so much more. Hello, my name is Catherine Rains. I'm a mixed media collage artist, and welcome to Tune In Tuesday, where I share weekly art videos to expand your mixed media toolbox. If you see value in this video, I would deeply appreciate a thumbs up, and if you would subscribe to my channel below. To get the supplies list for Collage Keepsake, which I'll be walking you through in this video, simply go to the word MORE, M-O-R-E, under this video, and click on the link for the supplies PDF. A link for more information about the workshop itself, Collage Keepsake, is also there as well. So let's get into the supplies needed to create 13 types of art from your gel prints and collages. Welcome to my supplies walkthrough for my newest workshop, Collage Keepsake, that is coming out at the end of August 2024. In this self-guided workshop, you will have the opportunity to transform your jelly prints, your collage papers, and even old artwork into 13 different types of keepsakes that you can use every day in your life. In addition, you're going to be learning how to make a harvest collage, which will also be used as source material for creating some of these keepsakes. Before we get into the actual supply list, I want to give you a quick walkthrough of the 13 projects that you'll have a choice to make during Collage Keepsake. So first, we have Shelfies. These are either little boxes that you can put on a shelf, and these are actually created with what I call a harvest collage, which is a type of collage I'm teaching in this workshop. There's two different types of boxes that you can put your art onto, or you can mount your art onto cradled boards. Then we have ornaments, also made with a harvest collage, which of course could also be created with a jelly print as well. And then many types of cabochon items. For instance, we have a lot of different kinds of pendants, different size earrings, different kinds of bracelets, magnets, keychains, and bookmarks. In addition to that, there are also 3 bonus lessons that include paperweights in 2 different sizes, this really cool dome one and a flatter one, both cabochons, coasters, which I'm totally in love with and do belong in my house, and corkscrews and bottle openers. Again, the source material for the keepsakes can be a combination of your own jelly prints and collage papers, as well as making a harvest collage, which I'm going to show you how to do during the workshop, which is my version of what is also known as a masterboard collage, where you create a very large collage on a large piece of paper like this. This is a mixed media paper. In the supplies list, there are a couple other options for this, but what you're looking for is a paper that has a pretty thick substance to it, and that's what we're going to create our harvest collages on. Now, in case you're wondering what a harvest collage is, this is one of 3 that I'm teaching you how to make during Collage Keepsake, and it may not look like anything right here. It's kind of like a mess of a bunch of cohesive papers put together. However, once you start putting a template on top of your collages, you'll quickly discover the gorgeous compositions that you have in small little pockets across the larger composition that will then be transformed into many types of functional art, like ornaments, coasters, corkscrews, paperweights, pendants. The list goes on and on. 13 different types of art that you can create from this larger harvest collage. So that's where we're headed with Collage Keepsake. We're going to be starting with our 18 by 24 collages. And let's look at the supplies that you're going to want to gather now before you start making those collages. So I'm going to be following the suggested supplies list. Now, on the very top of the list are the substrate papers, which I've already talked about. But let's talk about glue. So these are my 2 favorite glues. This is a matte medium, which is a liquidy version of a matte gel. Now you could also use gloss. I just have a preference for matte because I can see my collages better when they're matte. Please use gloss if that is your personal preference. Whenever you see me gluing, you will see not these big containers, but I actually put my matte gel in this little jar. It'll be labeled matte gel. And I put my matte medium, the liquid version of this, into a condiment bottle. Basically because I don't want to be using the larger containers and keeping them open as I glue. So I keep them in smaller containers just to keep these products safe from air that would get into them if I kept them open for long periods of time. Now, if you prefer to use a glue stick, that's perfectly fine. This is just what I use, my preference. And I'll show you how to use these two products as we glue our collages. You will want at least one 1-inch flat brush. This is for gluing our collage papers down. I love a catalyst wedge, which helps to get the bubbles out when you are gluing paper. And of course, you want a pair of scissors. These are my favorite at the moment, but I kind of collect scissors. These are actually sewing scissors. We're going to be cutting paper with them, so it does dull the scissors. I usually replace these every couple years just because, cutting paper does dull scissors, but it's worth having a really good sharp pair of scissors. And you want an X-Acto knife, and I also would suggest getting extra blades because if you are going to mount your 4x4 collages in particular, it dulls the blades quite quickly. A self-healing cutting board is also quite useful, particularly for cutting our mounted collages for Project 1. And I would also suggest getting some kind of workable fixative. You don't need both of these. This is my preference. It's called a workable fixative by Krylon. It's kind of foolproof in terms of protecting our work. If you're doing any kind of drawing on your artwork, something that might bleed if you add water to it. Spectrafix is the environmentally sound version of this. This you can use inside, this you need to use outside or inside in a well-ventilated area. This one just doesn't always work, but a lot of artists use it and it doesn't have a smell. This does. So it's kind of a personal choice which one you want to use. This is the one I use. This is the one I should use. And you want to choose one kind of varnish. I have two listed here. One is a golden archival varnish. The other is a Krylon UV varnish. Both are very good. This is the one I've used for years. This one also works really well. In particular, I like a varnish that has some kind of UV protectant in it because we are working with mixed media that may not be archival in all cases. So this helps to protect it long term. I do use a spray varnish. You certainly can use a liquid varnish instead. This just is easier to use for me because some of our work will have some dimension to it. So I don't have to worry about brushing something over a textured surface. And Dorland's wax. This can be used as an alternative to varnish. It is a wonderful product to use. It protects your artwork. So if people actually touch your artwork, it won't hurt it. And you don't need it because you could also use the varnish instead. You might also want to consider getting some hole punches. These are really nice for embellishing our collages. You might already have some black and white pins. These pins in particular are archival pins. This is my favorite white pin, a jelly roll. But I also have a Faber-Castell Pitt pin and a Stettler pin. You might already have some of these on hand. Now, for our first project together, we're going to create something called a shelfie, art that sits on a shelf or a desk. And there are many options for mounting or displaying these. The way that I personally do it is I put them on what is known as a cradled board. This is a thick piece of wood. This is a 2-inch cradled board, but you can get them in 1.5 inches. This is a 7/8 of an inch. Really, it's really personal preference what size you'd want. This is actually painted black. They actually come in a blonde color. Other good options, particularly if this is expensive where you live, and in some countries they are priced prohibitively high. Another option would be these fabulous acrylic frames. So you open this up, you put your artwork in the middle, and you close it back up. You buy them in packages of 6, I believe. They're off Amazon. Very economical to mount your artwork that way, and easy too. Another way of mounting your artwork is to buy a very inexpensive canvas panel. These are 4x4s, which is the size of the artwork we're going to be doing. These cost less than $1 in most places. You could actually mount your artwork on here and then place the canvas panel on an easel. So you could actually gift the whole thing together, which I think would be a beautiful presentation as well. And there's always just a store-bought frame. Although our actual collages will be this size, imagine mounting your collage in an 8x8 frame or a 6x6 frame. You know, you can have just like a white piece of board there and put the collage right on top. Very economical way of mounting our 4x4 collages. For module 1, option 2, you have another option for creating shelfies. You can create another harvest collage with another set of papers, maybe a different color palette perhaps. And instead of mounting it to a cradled board or putting it in a frame, you can actually mount it to an actual box. This is a wooden box, hollow on the inside, so you can paint it or not. So I made another harvest collage for these and mounted it to a box. So imagine this sitting on a shelf, sitting on a desk, or maybe being gifted with a gift inside of it. You can also make it in this smaller box. This is a little latched box. I love these. Both of these come in multiples when you buy them. So this comes in a multiple of 12, I believe. This is in a multiple of 4. I love these as shelfies in our home on a bookcase. Just a really effective decorative item or a gift to someone that you love. Moving on to module 2, where you'll make framed ornaments. This is how I frame mine. These are double-sided frames. I buy these off Etsy, and there's a link to exactly where I buy them. And they come in 2 colors. Actually 3 colors, but there's a bronze and an antique gold, I believe it's called. They almost look imperceptibly the same. And then there's also a silver. You buy them in packages of 6. I don't have a link to ribbon on the supply list, but any craft store you can buy this from. And this is what I actually use to hang my ornaments. I just string this up. So, you want to look for some kind of decorative ribbon that you like. The other option is to buy these small miniature frames. These, I think, are 4x4s, and they actually have a mat already in them with glass, so probably it's plexiglass. You glue it right to the center there, and this has a little easel, so it makes a beautiful presentation. Again, these also come in packages of 6, and these are off Amazon, but I love that presentation. Just kind of a very miniature gift, but it's an original piece of art you're giving in this little framed presentation. I recommend getting some kind of fine liner. These are the ones I've used for many years. It's actually called a fine liner applicator. And you're going to see me using these in the videos. The issue with these is that they clog quite easily. I do use them, and I tell you how to unclog them. However, the alternative is this sweet little thing, and it doesn't clog. Well, I shouldn't say it never clogs, but it's very easy to get unclogged. So this is my actual product of choice. However, I've used these for many years. I've got paint filled with them, so I tend to use whatever I've got filled with paint. So I use both of these. Finally, mailing labels. Now, mailing labels are used for making image transfers. And if you have access to a laser printer, this is a very easy way to make image transfers. However, I also show the other version of image transfers, which is a rub-off version. And with that, you can use either an inkjet or a laser printer. But this one in particular is good if you've got access to a laser printer. Otherwise, forget this and just go for an inkjet printer and use plain old copy paper to make your image transfers. And finally, module 3, where you're going to make cabochon gifts. Now, cabochons are glass domes that you'll put your artwork over, and then that will fit into what's known as a bezel tray. That becomes a frame for your artwork. As you can see on the supplies list and what's on the screen, there's a wide variety of cabochon gifts that you can create. So I want to give you a tour of all of the options available so that you can make informed choices about what you want to order. And then you have the products you need for Module 3 by the time you get to that part of the course. So there are 4 different kinds of pendants. They're along the top row here. We've got 40 millimeter pendants, 30 millimeter, 20 millimeter, and rectangular. In all 4 cases, you will have some shape of bezel tray like this and a cabochon, which is a glass dome. You're going to put your artwork right here, and you'll put your cabochon on top, you'll seal it, and this is your product right there. So the 40 millimeter, this particular size makes a beautiful long pendant for someone to wear, let's say on a sweater or a t-shirt. You also could put a ribbon through this and make it an ornament. That's a great size for that. The 30 millimeter and the 20 millimeter, basically the same thing as the 40, just different sizes and different size cabochons. And I've also provided links to different ways to hang these if you choose. There is a 24-inch leather cord, a 16-inch leather cord, and also a gold and a silver chain that are just beautiful, and they're reasonably priced. This size in particular makes a beautiful choker, which is how I actually wear this. And this actually makes a beautiful choker as well, these little rectangular ones. Now, on the supplies list, I actually indicate whether each one of these comes with the cabochons or not. So for instance, the cabochons for the 40 millimeter ones, you buy them separately. I gave you a link to purchase them. For the 30 millimeter, which you can get in silver, black, and gold, you need to buy the cabochon separately as well. The 20 millimeter pendants actually come in a kit where you get all three colors, black, gold, and silver, and they come with the cabochons. Same thing for the rectangular ones. You get all the different colors in terms of the actual base of the bezel tray, and it includes the actual cabochon. Now, there's three kinds of bracelets. These two bracelets are my now favorite bracelets. This one is a sterling silver one, and it has a hollow back. In one of the videos, I actually show you how to mount your artwork in this one. The gold one is actually stainless steel, and it's a little bit different mounting, and I'll show you how to do that one as well. Both of these are very dainty and beautiful gifts, but it just so happens that I gifted both of these pieces to myself, and they're usually on my arm, not the table. And there's also one with a nice leather cord, which I think is also very beautiful. Moving on to earrings. So I have two different size earrings, these little baby earrings, which I absolutely adore. They're very lightweight. These are 12 millimeter cabochons, and they come in multiple colors within a kit. So everything comes together, and it comes with a little glass dome, so the cabochons. For the larger ones, these are 16 millimeter, and the actual bezel tray and the little dome are sold separately. So you can get this in silver or gold, and then you buy these as a separate piece. Now, magnets. The square magnets actually come in a kit. So they come with a self-adhesive magnet, the square cabochon. You put your art behind here and you just assemble them. It's very easy to do, but it's a very professional looking piece. I love that. You can also get round magnets, and actually the round magnets are 30 millimeter cabochons that I put a round magnet behind. So you just place it behind there. So this just gets glued behind the artwork. Now, this magnet could also go behind this 40 millimeter. You just make a larger magnet. I think that's lovely as well. I also have keychains in 3 colors, and this also comes in a kit, so you get all 3. The keychains include the cabochon and the actual bezel tray, so it's all complete in one. And then we've got 2 kinds of bookmarks. This particular bookmark has a 20 millimeter cabochon in it. It's sold separately. This is the bezel tray that goes into. You buy all these off Etsy, and there are links to all of these in the supplies list. And this is my personal favorite. I love this bookmark. However, it's such a shallow tray right here, the little bezel tray, that it doesn't actually fit a cabochon. So I will show you how to finish this. Basically, you're just going to put a heavy coat of gloss medium on it, and that makes it a very professional finish. Collage Keepsake also has 4 bonus sections. The first one is a curated list of collage papers. Now, the truth is, Collage Keepsake was designed so that you don't have to make any more collage papers if you already have a lot of them. You know, if you've got a lot of jelly prints and a lot of collage papers from other projects, this is the perfect way to use them up. With all the different projects that I'm going to be presenting here, both in the 3 main modules as well as in the bonus lessons. However, you might want to supplement some of the papers you already have, or maybe you don't have any papers and you want to make them from scratch. This is one place to find a curated list of my favorite papers. So I actually show you pictures of the papers. There's actually 25 of them, and show you the supplies that are needed from them. And there's a video on each one of them in Collage Keepsake. For bonus number 2, I'll be showing you how to turn your jelly prints or the collages that you make during this class into beautiful acrylic drink coasters. I absolutely love these. This is an alternative to framing your work. You just put it into this very super cool drink coaster. For bonus 3, you have the choice of making 2 types of cabochon paperweights. These are flatter, which I love. They have a nice felt backing on them. And these are domed, also with a felt backing. So again, I show you exactly how to make these so they look very professional, and you can make them with either papers you already own. For instance, this is a jelly print, whereas this one was actually made with a collage from my 100-day project, which I love. These are also different collage papers that I've made. And finally, for bonus 4, you have the choice of making corkscrews, which, by the way, I'm completely in love with and will live in my home, or bottle openers, which also double as a keyring. So there you have it. 13 different ways to bring your art into your everyday life. Everything from shelfies to pendants, paperweights, ornaments, love, coasters, so many gorgeous ways. You can make all of these things using your jelly prints, other collage papers that you've been making, or make brand new collages, which I did a combination of both of those to make all of these. I made new Harvest collages, which I show how to do during the class. And I also used many of my jelly prints and old collage papers that I just hadn't gotten around to putting into some kind of art. So I hope you'll take this very fun class with me. And if you have any questions about the supplies, about what we're going to make, about the time involved, please feel free to leave a comment and you'll get an answer right away. Now I have to get back to making more of these because they are so much fun to do. And I think you are going to love making them too. To get all the details about my newest online workshop, Collage Keepsake, simply click on the word more below this video. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would be deeply grateful if you would. And I'll see you next week for Tune In Tuesday.